Boko Haram and now its allegiance to ISIL will pose a major challenge for whomever wins the presidency. For more on this, I spoke to John Campbell. He's a former U.S. ambassador to Nigeria. He's also the author of the book Nigeria Dancing on the Brink, which explores the country's history and the conflicts it's currently facing.
For Buhari, in many respects, his most effective campaign theme has been the Jonathan government's inability to provide for the security of its citizens, with specific reference to the Boko Haram insurrection in the north. His other platform plank that resonates is he is fiercely opposed to corruption. And during the period he was military chief of state, he was a crusader against corruption. And that resonates with the Nigerian electorate right now. Goodluck Jonathan's campaign is based on the rather remarkable economic growth rates that have occurred on his watch. And he now, particularly since the elections were postponed, can point to a series of successful campaigns in northeastern Nigeria against Boko Haram.
Buhari supporters have obviously talked about one of the things you just mentioned, his military experience and expertise, that makes him an ideal candidate to fight Boko Haram. Could that argument sway enough voters? And of course, he's been critical of the government for not rescuing the 200 girls who were kidnapped. Does that play well as well on his part as far as the campaign is going?
It probably does. The Nigerian army has been starved of resources, both material and human, for quite a long time now. And that's one of the reasons why its performance in the field against Boko Haram has been so poor. Buhari, in effect, has said that he would look to essentially reforming the defense establishment so as to improve the military's capability.
Complicating things further in many respects, Boko Haram's pledge of allegiance to Islamic State. How does that impact things?
Well, and even what does it actually really mean? From a certain perspective, it's largely rhetoric. However, it has probably boosted Boko Haram's prestige, particularly amongst terrorist groups around the world. But what the practical consequences of it will be remains to be seen. Northeastern Nigeria is a very long way from the Middle East, and the dynamics in northern Nigeria are quite different from what they are in the Middle East. For the time being, I would say the significance is largely one of propaganda.
In your book, Nigeria Dancing on the Brink, you argue that Nigeria is very important to the interests of the international community. Can you explain why?
When I was ambassador there, we saw Nigeria as a beacon for those in Africa who were looking for the establishment of democratic governments. It remains to be seen how the elections on the 28th of March turn out. If they are credible, well managed, and in fact command the acceptance of most Nigerians, then indeed Nigeria's democratic vocation will have been reaffirmed. If the elections are a mess with lots of violence, then it will be undermined.